So I just did a whole video on this, and I got copyright infringement warning or whatever. But yeah. So there is a big difference. People are people. Let's get that out of the way. People are people, no matter where you go. But there is a big difference between a black neighborhood, a mixed neighborhood, and an all-white neighborhood. So the black neighborhood and the mixed neighborhood, were more impoverished, were poor, and then the white neighborhood is more affluent now. So yeah, what I noticed about the black neighborhood is most people pretty much stay to themselves. And there's a sense of trying just to get through the day. And with the black neighborhood, the crimes were more violent. I mean, you're going to see a lot more robberies, a lot more theft, a lot more violent crime shootings, you know, beatings and things like that. So those are some of the differences that I noticed. And then as far as the neighborhood itself, you know, where I was, and I can't speak for everybody, but from where I was, it was just a sense of like this is just the way it is. You're just trying to get through the day. You really didn't think about the future. There were plenty of churches. You're going to see a lot more Arab stores, the little corner stores. You see a lot more of that. You're also going to see a lot more just trash, like on the streets. Uh, you know, a lot more like abandoned homes, fields. And unfortunately, as sad as it is, and this isn't to be insensitive, but you're also going to see a lot more where they have the vigils. You may see some where you'll see a lot more candles and teddy bears, left around like poles and things like that. So these are some of the things that you're going to see in the black neighborhood. This is what I experienced. A lower income neighborhood. Um, what I noticed in the black neighborhood too is people are very scared to help you because possibly because they feel like, okay, if I do say something, if I speak out on what I'm saying or I say something, they're scared that it may come back to them or their family. So that sense of what goes on, in this house stays on in this house. I see it and I don't see it. That's really prevalent, and I just want to make that known. Where I was, people would probably more so be ready to take out their phone and film what's going on than actually take out their phone to call for help. So, yeah, unfortunately, that's pretty common. Um, the next neighborhood, when I was living in a mixed neighborhood, I actually saw way more there than any of the other neighborhoods. And hopefully, I don't copyright me again because I like to play like relaxing music in the background. Yeah, but what I noticed in the mixed neighborhood is not only do you get more of a variety of crimes, but one crime that I seen way more of was like the RAPE. There we would always like almost every other day. It seemed like we were getting one of those notices. So where I was, that was really common, and I saw that more than in any other neighborhood. You still have the blacks, which are pretty much to themselves, trying to just get through the day, so forth and so on. But then you have the Hispanics. And where I was, the Hispanics made up like more than 40%. So, sometimes there's truth to the stereotypes. But when I tell you that I've seen plenty of homes where they were deep. I mean, we're talking about like 10, 15 people living in one house, and I'm not even exaggerating. They're sharing like maybe one or two cars, and one thing that I noticed too is that they do have a stronger, like, maybe sense of community. I'm sure that they have their thing, but it was so many of them that they would just take over clusters. And when I say take over, I don't mean just living there, but I mean like the car washes on Friday, Saturday night. They would hang out there, and then the police would come and chase them away. You would see a lot of that. Also, with the Hispanic community, I don't want to say that they feel like they're better than blacks, but let's just say they don't really intermingle a lot with them. From what I've seen, at least in the neighborhood that I was in, there wasn't a lot of that. Only time they might intermingle with them is like if they're partying or with some kind of business. I've seen a lot of car shops with Hispanic, like as far as like fixing the cars, that was pretty common too. And then in the mixed neighborhood, I mean, where I was, I saw a lot of scrap yards. There was a lot of robbery, a lot of prostitution, a lot of robbery, so yeah. With the white people there, they pretty much stayed to themselves too, unless it was for business purposes. But the main thing is that you still felt a sense of uh, sometimes it was still racism there, and it's like I didn't understand it because we're all poor, but it's always a little hint of that superiority. And I'm not saying all white people are like this or whatever. I'm just saying what I've experienced. And then I've had, really good friendships with white people in the neighborhood. I mean, hell, my neighbor had my key for like years. She had a spare key, just in case, something were to happen. And we looked out for each other, so that was a good thing. But yeah, I saw a little bit of everything. Even someone like spray painted the N word on one of the homes, one of the abandoned homes. So these are the three things that I've really seen in the mixed neighborhood. Now, coming to where I'm at now, the more affluent white neighborhood, you get more people are focused on their present and their future. You know, One thing about it is they will let you know that they see you and they're watching you. As soon as you get in the neighborhood, everybody's looking to see, who this is, and then they'll say something like, "Oh, hi, I'm so and so and so and so. What's your name or whatever? Yeah, we've been here for years. It's a great place or whatever." So you kind of get the sense of they're saying, "Okay, don't come bring that foolishness in here," you know. But they really pretty much cool. They stay to themselves. Everybody is just like they have more of a sense of keeping what they have, you know. And I don't mean that in like blacks and Hispanics don't want to keep what they have, but I'm saying the white people really feel like they have something to protect, and there's not really as much racism here as it is classism. The main thing is that if you come out here, you got to be on your business. They just want to make sure that you're going to pay your rent, pay your mortgage, keep the noise to a minimum, and don't disturb what they got going on, you know? So these are just some of the things that I've seen. Another thing that I noticed in the white neighborhoods, um, they don't really dress. They don't dress really to impress. What I'm saying is, in a black neighborhood, that was the most stylish neighborhood. I mean, people would be designer down. People would have spend their money differently. Their luxury, the hood rich, is completely different from uh, the rich that I'm around now. It's like most black people pay their money to look good, to look a certain way, whereas the whites where I am, they're investing their money in other things. So you may see somebody with some J. Crew or something, or something real generic looking, or whatever, but they're in $1 million home, or or a very nice home. Maybe not $1 million. I'm over exaggerating now, but you'll see where they're putting their money to. They're not buying junk. They're reinvesting. I'm not saying all black people, so don't go saying I'm generalizing everybody. I'm just trying to tell you what I've seen. So yeah, these were definitely the differences. Police presence was pretty much. I'm trying to think. They were all pretty much the same. As a matter of fact, it's not. I don't see a whole lot of police presence around here in the affluent neighborhood. And I'm not saying that, there isn't. I mean, there's still police presence, but it's not, it's kind of, I don't know. Sometimes I think people kind of have like a false sense of security, you know? Whereas when you're in the hood, you're always on alert. You're always alert. So yeah, that's what I would say. These are the biggest differences. Comment and like and subscribe. Let me know if you got any value from this. I really appreciate you watching. Bye for now.